Welcome to episode 24 of The Pulse, life-changing perspectives in under 35 minutes, brought to you by Galt's Conditioning. I'm your host, Clifford Janice. Today's episode is titled, Do It Yourself. You can find me on IG and Twitter at Galt's Conditioning, and you can listen to The Pulse on SoundCloud, Google Play, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, and YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and if you visit the Pulse page on the Galt's Conditioning website, please be sure to leave a comment. So realistically, this should be episode 23, but I decided to make it episode 24 in honor of Kobe Bryant, who passed on Sunday in Los Angeles, California. It's been difficult in terms of just processing emotions. I have a good friend who is a huge Kobe fan, a huge Lakers fan, and just really thinking about what Kobe Bryant represented outside of the game. And thinking about the connection we have with celebrities and just how I don't think we've, and I guess when I say we, I mean millennials, or I could just be speaking for myself, we're not emotionally ready for the amount of death that's going to be in our future. We're connected with all these celebrities and we're connected with each other globally. So this hyper awareness of someone passing, I think it's really going to take a toll on a lot of people. And for me personally, it just makes me rethink life purpose. And, I talked about depression in the Black Depression episode, and my focus being on how do we make this life experience balanced? How does someone who is doing or who was doing so good for the community, his community, and for the things he valued and things he believed in, things he supported, investing time and energy in supporting people. Why does someone like him get removed, and why do people who do evil, get to exist for long periods of time, get to live through their 80s and 90s and continue their reign on society? So I wanted to discuss 3 quotes from Kobe. The first one is, "The people who truly know me know what I'm like. There have been people who try to say things that aren't fair, and I check them. And then they don't like me because I check them." And the second one, "You want me to own a team and deal with these rich, spoiled, stubborn athletes and try to get them to perform? No, thank you." Those 2 quotes personify who Kobe Bryant is. I think that he wasn't really loved while he was a player because he wasn't part of the boys' club. Basketball has very much become a boys' club where, you have to be on 24/7. You perform during the game, do post-game conference, and you're on social media. It's a 24/7 news cycle. And sports as a whole has kind of become part of that 24/7 news cycle, which is why I don't really watch sports anymore. I think Kobe was the last remaining guard of what basketball used to be, and his work ethic, which is what everyone talks about. No one, regardless if you disliked him as a person or as a player, or from whatever little you knew about him, there was no denying that his work ethic is what set him apart from everyone and anyone. His drive, his commitment to excellence, his ability to, I guess, overachieve, and maybe that might even be too small of a word, but he just had this fire in him, and he pushed through. He kept pushing through constantly, time after time. He played in the NBA for 20 years. I watched him on his first game. I remember watching his first game when he was 18 and he played for the Lakers. And then I watched his last game, this very full circle, full body experience of seeing someone as a child, 18-year-old, still a child, and watching him evolve into a man, an adult. It's humbling to see that transition. It's humbling to see how he began and how he ended, championship after championship. Respect, admiration, support, love. And I think from my perspective, the most important thing to him was respect. So when I look at those 2 quotes, I think they resonate with the idea of just being respected and of him, kind of like I said earlier, not being part of that boys' club. Him being aware that the profession is the profession. Basketball is the profession. I train myself and I excel in my work so that I can be the top professional, and nothing else matters, right? You don't have to be friends with coworkers. You don't have to, it's not your responsibility to mold the people and to train them and guide them. It's nice, right? And we praise people who do it, but I think the standard that he set for himself for him, that's showcasing how you connect with him. And that's showcasing your work ethic and your drive and your ability to want to achieve and be a true professional. Iverson posted, I believe on IG, or it was a quote, and he said that when he first, when he first came to the league, him and Kobe went to dinner, they talked for a few hours, and towards the night, when they were getting ready to leave, Iverson said he was going to the club, and Kobe said he was going to go to the gym and practice. And I want to imagine that for Kobe, that if you weren't focused at the task at hand, if you weren't focused on the job and weren't putting the effort to be superior in every aspect, there was always going to be a disconnection for him. And I think in the later years, that's what kind of transitioned into the Black Mamba name. And I'll read my third quote, which is, "The name Kobe Bryant just evokes such a negative emotion. I said, if I create this alter ego, so now when I play, this is what's coming out of your mouth. It separates the personal stuff, right? You're not watching David Banner. You're watching the Hulk." So him being aware that Kobe Bryant, the person, had a negative stigma towards him because of his work ethic and because of how he viewed other people in relation to work ethic, the next step for him was just to change and to create a moniker. So now when he's on the court, he's not Kobe Bryant. He's a Black Mamba. He's there to work. He's there to get the job done. He's there to be an assassin, a figurative assassin, and play the game and be a professional. And then outside of that, he can be Kobe Bryant and he can be the person he wants to be and needs to be without being stigmatized. And you look at his post-NBA career, which is what really made me decide to tie in doing it yourself and making this episode, or paying this tribute to him in this episode. And he personifies what it means to truly be an individual and to not be boxed in by labels and perception of people. You consider most NBA players go on to do different things, and a lot of them are kind of sports oriented. And although he had numerous outlets, sports and basketball still being one of them, he won an Oscar, right, for a basketball short that he made. He had a venture capitalist company where he was investing in the future, in youth and ideas. From what I've read, he was a large donor to the Boys and Girls Club in LA. And just realizing and accepting that there's always more to life outside of what people ascribe to you. And if, as a person, you have so much more to give to the world, you have to do the work and put the effort in to not just be that initial label they give you. You have to put the work in. You have to separate yourself from your old moniker and kind of build on who you are and who you want to be and what you want to provide for the world. And I think Kobe Bryant exemplified that off the court. So doing it yourself. Now, doing it yourself, you think about DIY, right? Do-it-yourself tasks and crafts and homemade products, face masks, and all these different things. And the idea for me is being involved in the process and being conscious and aware of, I guess when it comes to certain things, like ingredients. Like for myself, I don't use soap on my face because I get bad reactions. So in the morning, I have a water and lemon juice solution that I make. And I just splash it on my face, keeps my face clear, acne free, works for me. In the shower, I use DIY coffee scrub that I make. It's coffee, brown sugar, sometimes activated charcoal, lemon juice. It exfoliates and it gets the job done. And when I go on the market, I see all these different type of products, and I see options, and I see all the different products I could buy that offer the same results. But for me, when I look on the ingredients, I see 30 ingredients for something that just calls itself coffee face scrub, right? For me, it doesn't make sense. So doing it myself is about, again, taking ownership and taking control of what I put on my body and what I put into my body. So about 2 weeks ago, I was cutting up bananas for oatmeal. And I remember there used to be a Raisin Bran cereal that also had bananas in it, but they were dried so that they would last long. They had preservatives and all that excess chemicals. You think about cornflakes with strawberries in them, or, all these, like cereal started very basic, right? Like you imagine cornflakes was like the original cereal, and it was just that basic. Here are the flakes, you add milk, you're done. But as time continues, we add different ingredients, right? Because we want to entice people. But so many of these ingredients where's the true quality control? Like, where are the strawberries coming from that are in cornflakes? Where are the bananas coming from that are in Raisin Bran? Where's the honey coming from that's in Honey Bunches of Oats? And, my focus or my goal whenever it comes to food is to enjoy the base product and enjoy a product as much on the base level as I can. Enjoy as far removed from additional people. So if I eat cereal, let's say I get cornflakes, I can just get cornflakes and I can add bananas and I can add honey and I can add a granola, all organic from different vendors who focus on this specific craft or this, this is the business they do, and know that it's more healthy and beneficial for me versus getting the Honey Bunches of Oats with the honey and the nut clusters and the almonds and all these other things that as a manufacturer, their goal is to save cost. So they're getting the lowest of the low quality of ingredients. Doing it yourself rests on the idea of time and making time for ourselves, right? You think about TV dinners. You think about the microwave, which I'm not a fan of. Neil deGrasse Tyson says there's nothing wrong with microwaves. And, to each their own, but just the concept and the idea of it bothers me. We live in this fast-paced world where we're told to always keep moving, keep pushing forward, save time, pay someone else to do the work for you because you don't have time to. But the reality is that most of us do have time. I think living in this modern age, all the time we invest in social media, all the time we invest on streaming services, all the time we invest on transportation. There's so much opportunity to make better self-investment choices. So using the cereal, right? I can wake up in the morning and say, I don't have time to cut up bananas and cut up strawberry and pour honey. But realistically, it's 2 minutes of your day, right? Let's say to prep your perfect cereal, 2 minutes, right? I make oatmeal every morning, and realistically, the oatmeal process is 3 minutes. I use organic oats, pour the almond milk in, I scoop jam, peanut butter, I add marshmallows, I add MCT oil, I add bee pollen, and I have a complete breakfast with all the essentials I need to kind of go about my day. On another aspect, do-it-yourself is saving money and being forward-thinking and being more aware of where your money goes, because time and money are kind of the biggest challenges people have on a regular basis. So Sunday, I ordered breakfast, and usually I get potatoes, some type of egg dish, and bacon. But I ordered potatoes and I ordered a chicken and waffles rather. And I wanted some eggs too. And it was 3 eggs and it was $7. And I thought, I can just buy a dozen eggs in a carton, about $4, right? And then I thought about adding bacon, and 2 pieces of bacon for about $4.95. And again, thought to myself, I can get 6 pieces of bacon for about $2 or $3. And doing it yourself is being forward thinking, being aware of what you enjoy and what you like, and preparing for that. So I get into weird phases with food. So I can go 2 years without really caring for bacon, but then I'll have it and I'll be on a bacon kick for like 6 months. Currently, I'm on a bacon kick. Eggs, not really a big fan, but for whatever reason, I wanted eggs that day. So now, next time I go to the grocery store, I'll load up on some bacon. I'll get 8 pieces for $3, $4. I'll get like maybe 4 or 6 eggs. I don't really eat eggs that frequently, and I want them to be as fresh as possible when I do enjoy them. And I'll stick them in the fridge, and I'll have saved money essentially, right? I can't really equate the value because I don't know what my future desires are, but I know that the next time I have a craving for bacon, or I have a craving for eggs, I have them in my fridge and I don't need to spend money. And I think that's a large focus of doing things yourself, being mentally prepared, and I guess honing in on desires, future desires and urges, and being conscious, again, like I said, being conscious on how you spend your money and how you spend your time. I find it, for me, it's methodical. Like I enjoy, like cleaning the house is something I enjoy doing. It's very methodical. It's very relaxing. I can just listen to music. I can just kind of just zone out and not pay attention, but do necessary movements. That's how I feel about cooking. That's how I feel about any type of practical work that I know is beneficial for me. It makes me feel more connected to my home and to my space and to myself. I feel rewarded for doing work for myself. I feel rewarded for waking up every morning and using this hand concoction that I made. I feel rewarded taking a shower and using this coffee scrub and seeing the benefits and knowing that I've created a minimal product that provides me amazing benefits and allows me to live a healthier, more fulfilled life. Doing things yourself is about self-enrichment. It's about self-empowerment, and it's about individuality. And I understand that, at some point you create these products for yourself and it's a great idea and you want to share them with people. And, that leads into the marketing and the capitalism aspect, which I'm totally fine with. And, at some point it loses its core truth because you compromise with additional chemicals and all these other things that unfortunately take away from the true essence of things, right? So, like I said, you can go to Walgreens or a pharmacy and go to the skincare section and look at a face scrub. Look at a basic face scrub it's named black coffee face scrub or activated charcoal face scrub. And it's telling you it's just this one ingredient or one main ingredient. But again, you look on the back and there's these 20 different products that you don't really necessarily know what they are. Granted, there are people who take the time and who do the research to see what all these individual ingredients are, and they can break them down and explain adverse effects they'll have on your body. But as a consumer, you're not really processing that. You're just seeing the big label print, and that's what draws you in, and that's what you kind of cave into. Food, same aspect. My general rule when it comes to food is if it has more than, let's say, maybe 5 to 6 ingredients, I'm most likely not interested unless I know it's trash. Like if I know it's trash, like if it's a snack or just something I just need or rather want to kind of crave or indulge in, that's fine. But never on a consistent basis will I eat something that's just that has loaded ingredients and all different types of acids and food coloring and flavors that just say flavor, right? It brings no value to life. If I'm not aware, if I can't trace back the origins of where something came from, I know it has no value and it's only adding detriment to my health. So going back to the focus on empowerment, so I do contract work, which I've mentioned before. And the end of last year was very busy. And this year I decided to kind of slow things down so I can focus on what's important to me, focus on my own brand, focus on my own projects a bit more. But an opportunity came to me, some remote work, copy editing, something easy that I know I can easily do. And it was through a recruiting agency that I signed up for maybe years ago, but never did any work for. And when I first moved to Denver, they have an office in Denver, and they reached out to me. And I was going to go for an interview, but I just told myself, it's not me. Like I'm not a middleman person. It's not who I am. So I just canceled the interview at the last minute. So when they contacted me earlier this year, I said yes. It's easy. Again, it's easy, quick money for me. And I started doing the work and just getting a lot of calls and emails from the recruiter about hours and did I speak to this person? And it became too much. So on the second day, I emailed her and told her, it just feels like I'm being micromanaged, which wasn't what we agreed on. You initially told me that I'd have free reign to kind of do the project at my own pace, and that's the only reason I agreed to do it. And I just decided to go my own way. I sent her an email saying I'm no longer interested. And my realization was accepting who I am. And I think, that's a challenge. There's the craven desire to get money or to have someone give me money for work, which is the nature, which is what so many of us do. But the amount of time and effort that I realized was being invested in emails and phone calls and the project itself, which wasn't what I was told it was initially, I just realized it wasn't for me. And at this point in my career, I'm 34, I think now. But at this point in my career, there's no reason I should be working with a middleman. And, I say that respectfully, not to downplay anyone who uses recruiting services or who works through third parties. But, I've been doing the work that I'm in for about 8 years. Yeah, 8 years now, 2012, 8 years. So there's no reason why I need a middleman to communicate with the business. I think my skills and my work ethic have allowed me to be successful all these years. And I think as a professional in any aspect, you reach a point where you don't appreciate certain engagements or certain conversations or certain interactions. And that's kind of what I realized when I took on this 2-day contract job, that I don't value or don't appreciate middlemen or micromanagement, which is something I've never really appreciated. So I told myself, do it myself. I should be the one working directly with businesses. I shouldn't have a third party telling me someone wants to know X about Z. It makes no sense. I'm not a child. Like I said, I'm a professional, and knowing myself and knowing how short-tempered I can be, I knew I would find myself being frustrated with the roundabout communication. So I did the responsible thing, and I parted ways, and I went on about my life. So bringing it back to the idea of doing it yourself is cutting out the middleman, cutting out unnecessary communication, unnecessary people, unnecessary actions or transactions, right? Realizing the power that you have as an individual to have more stake and claim over your life. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we kind of go through, right? Like living in New York, I lived in New York 25 plus years. If I need to get from Brooklyn to Manhattan, I'm okay with taking the bus and taking the train and allowing someone else to do the work for me instead of driving. I get time to read. I get time to kind of sit and focus and relax my mind. Driving in New York gives me anxiety. It's a high stress environment. So making the right choices, right? Better yet, not driving. There's one less car on the road, less pollution, better for the environment, even looking at it in that aspect. But there's this constant ability to pick and choose the things you can do for yourself versus the things you can't, right? If I want to head over to New York, I'm not going to drive. It's a waste of time. It's not necessarily a waste of time. It's excessive time lost. And again, it's more expensive in terms of gas, all the mileage I'm adding on the car, looking for hotel, food, drink. It adds up versus just getting a cheap flight for about $150. Doing it yourself isn't about being solely independent and not needing anyone. It's not realistic. We're all codependent of each other in society. It's about looking at what can you own more of? What can you own more claim to of your life? Cooking, again, like, are you eating microwave dinners every night, right? Or are you eating fast food every night? Granted, I understand that, in the past, $5 could get you a whole meal. But for $5, you can also buy a box of pasta, right? You can buy some steak. You can buy an onion. You can even maybe get tomato sauce if it's on sale, all within $5. And that bunch of products can give you food for 2-3 days, depending on how you break it up. Doing it yourself is saving money, but it's also allowing you to be more creative and allowing you to kind of hone in on, I guess, self-encouragement. I feel like cooking is a very rewarding experience. If you've been in a position where you weren't able to cook initially and you've reached the point where you've constantly been putting the work in, you're seeing the results, right? You know how to cook steak better. You know how to cook pasta better. You know how to cook rice better. You know how to, make a whole meal for a group of friends. That's a rewarding experience. It empowers you, makes you feel good about yourself, and it connects you, I think, on a deeper level with just getting in touch with yourself and your capabilities and the possibilities. And it allows you to see that putting in consistent work breeds good results. And I think for me, that's kind of the tie-in with Kobe Bryant. Just the idea of, while everyone else is doing X, Y, Z, I'm going to do what's in my best interest. And I'm going to do what I can do. And I'm going to do what I need to do. So if I'm a athlete, if I'm Kobe Bryant, and my teammates, it's 11 o'clock and my teammates are all sleeping, they're tired, and I want to shoot around, I'm going to go shoot around. I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to grab my own rebounds. I'm going to do my own layups. I'm going to do my own drills. I'm going to give myself alley-oops off the backboard. I'm going to create a process so that I can always be okay with just putting in work by myself and knowing that I don't have to rely on people for every small, minute part of life. In some aspects, we do need other people. We need people to fly planes. We need people to drive the bus. We need people to power our homes. We need people to educate us, in a sense, when we're children. And I guess this ties in with the previous episode, being what's free, free education. Do it yourself. You can educate yourself nowadays. There's no need to look or demand others to give you free education or to give you free information when you can go on the internet and do it yourself. Possibilities. Life is about options. Rather, life offers options, which offers possibilities. And the more you're able to create, the more you're able to take control of what you allow in your life, what you implement, the acts you perform, the people you communicate with, the interactions and the transactions that occur, the better the options become. And as you refocus and reestablish these options and you choose the ones that work best for you, since you created the scenario that allowed you to have these options, if one option fails, you easily have plan B, right? You create plan A, B, C. You try A, it doesn't work. You go to B, it works or it doesn't. And then you have C. And they're all within your realm. They're all within your control. And so since you're the creator, since you're the creator of these options, you set the tone. It's easy to rebound after mistakes. It's easy to figure out what works and what doesn't work. But when we allow people to be the deciding factor in everything we do, when we allow companies to tell us what we should eat, what we should drink, what we should use in our body, what we should read, what we should buy, all of these marketing schemes, which work and some are beneficial. But when we give up so much power to others, we lose part of ourselves. And I think doing it yourself is about reconnecting and establishing who you are, what you want, what you can achieve, what possibilities, what doors open up. It's freedom in a sense. I think doing things yourself, or rather learning how to do things yourself, or even learning to do as much as you can for yourself, it frees up your dependency on other people. And the more you become dependent on people, the more they stake claim to your life and they control what you do and what you don't do. That's the idea for opposing big government and not having the government inside every aspect of your home. That's privacy, right? That's the idea of you want to be free to make the choices you make and live however you see fit. But I think people fail to realize that the more we become dependent on other people and corporations for everyday small things, the easier it is for them to kind of transition into other facets of our life. Amazon is a perfect example. Amazon started out as selling goods, and now you can literally buy anything on Amazon, right? And now Amazon is selling us a streaming service, right? And now Amazon has Amazon Web Services, which operates a bunch of businesses on a back end scale. And now Amazon is delivering, and Amazon has a market, and now Amazon has a store. And little by little, that's how corporations grow. That's how conglomerates form. That's how monopolies form. You keep giving up a little bit of freedom. You keep giving up a little bit of your ability to control some aspect of your life. And it happens very indirectly, or it happens very smoothly, where you don't see the big picture. You don't see the full grasp and the full sweep or the full takeover until it's too late. So I'd like to end this episode again, just commemorating Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi Bryant. They had a lot to offer this world, and it's very unfortunate how things occur at times. And on that note, I'd like to end this episode of The Pulse, life-changing perspectives in under 35 minutes, brought to you by Goltz Conditioning. I'm your host, Clifford Janice. You can find me on IG and Twitter at Goltz Conditioning, and you can listen to The Pulse on SoundCloud, Google Play, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, and YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and if you visit the Pulse page on the Goltz Conditioning website, please be sure to leave a comment. Until next time, peace.